Hello and welcome back to Illumino IT's YouTube channel. Hope everyone's well. And today's video is all about XLOOKUP, which will help you to look up data from one table to another, one data set to another, so that you can quickly match that data up and also be much more accurate in your data analysis. What's not to like about that? So let's get straight into the video. Here we are in our spreadsheet, and you can see that we're looking at the populations and countries of South America. Here in column A, I have the country name, and today's objective is to get the capital city of each of these countries into this table. And as you can see, we already have a table of those capital cities. However, you'll see they're all a bit jumbled up. They don't go along with these here. So we've got the Falkland Islands, Guyana, but French Guiana, Suriname, Uruguay, Paraguay, Guyana. So we're not lucky enough to have these in the exact order where we can just, for example, copy and paste everything, because they would just end up being incorrect. So we can't do that. The other option here would be to potentially start copying. So we could do Stanley, so that would be fairly easy there. However, when we get into the other ones, we could copy, so Georgetown, but we then have to look for Guyana. Okay, we're going to put it there. And then you can easily see what would go wrong is we go Uruguay, Montevideo. Okay, well, I'm going to put it there because I didn't spot the fact that it was there. So very quickly, in a small data set, if we're trying to copy and paste these individually, takes a lot of time, and also we can get this wrong very easily. So let's go back. Our old friend Control Z to undo. We'll put a title on this column F, which is capital city. And we'll just update this also to capital. There we go. So this is where XLOOKUP comes into itself. It means that we can very quickly look up data in another table and match it to the original. How do we start the formula? Well, equals for every formula. And then we start typing the name of the formula. So this is XLOOKUP. So after typing a couple of characters, you'll get the actual formula here. And you can carry on manually typing it, or you can double click on the formula name there. And then up in the top, you'll see that we have the beginning of that formula. Let's look at the components. And it's now asking us, first of all, for a lookup value. Well, the lookup value is what do we want to look for in our second table? Well, what we want to look for is what's in column A. So we're going to match this against column A, which is the country name. So our lookup value, the value that we want to look for, is the Falkland Islands here. Happens to be A2. Okay, so that's lookup value taken care of. Next, it's asking us for a lookup array. Now, an array is just a number of cells, so it could be just a column, it could be a whole table, it could be a number of rows, but array just means more than one cell. So the lookup array is where we want to actually look for this value. And where we're going to look for the value is in I, and we want to actually choose I2 all the way to I15, because it's in this whole table that this value exists somewhere, so we have to look through the whole table. So as I said, the array is just a number of cells, so we need it to look through all of these cells for this value. Okay, there's the lookup array, and now we want to tell it which data we want to actually bring back into our cell. So let's put another comma, and now we're on the third parameter, which is the return array. And again, array, just a number of cells. Return array is the data that we want to actually bring back that's been matched through XLOOKUP. The return array here is going to be J, and it's going to be the same numbers. So it's going to be J2 to J15. And you can see there that Excel also does a nice job of kind of showing us where these different items are, and it color codes so that we can see easily what these three items are going to be. Now, there's just another small trick here that we need to take care of before we can finish this formula. Now, when we finish the formula, we're going to want to copy this all the way down here. in order to very quickly look up all of these values for the different countries here. However, even though we're going to move down one cell each time, these tables and, well, these items are all going to stay in the same place all the time. So when we're copying that formula down, we will want A2 to change. So A2 will change to A3 here, A3 will change to A4, but we actually want these values to stay the same always, and for Excel to look in that table always and not choose a different kind of items and not start moving things down. And the way we do that is by choosing each of these and going F4, and you see that will put in $2 for you. So $1 in front of the I, $1 in front of the 2, and that's just telling me it's always going to start at I2 and it's always going to finish at I15. So we also want to do the same for that one. Just basically click the mouse so that the cursor is in that cell and then do F4. And it's the same for the return array as well. That's always going to be in the same place. So we just choose that. And now we can close brackets. You'll see there's a number of optional parameters here, and we're not going to go into those for the time being in this video because we're just going to show you how XLOOKUP can quickly get you data that's matched back. So we'll look at those in a different video. But for the time being, we're just going to close the brackets there, and let's hope that this has worked. And you can see that it's brought back Stanley as the capital of Falkland Islands. Well, that could just be luck because, you know, it's the first one in both of those tables. So how do we know that I haven't just copied that value into there? Well, let's, as I said, we want to now copy this all the way down. So the easiest way to do that is to look at the small square in the right-hand corner of the first cell and just double click when you see the plus sign here. And now let's see if that's actually filled this out as we would expect. So KN is the capital of French Guiana. Yes, it is. Suriname, Paramaribo, Suriname. Georgetown for Guyana. So we can see that XLOOKUP has very quickly matched then all of this data and given us the correct answer for each of these capital cities. Rather than copying it from the other table and risking that to go wrong or taking a long time, especially if you've got thousands of rows in this spreadsheet, what we've done is we've very quickly created a formula that allows us to look up from this table into this original table. The last thing I'm going to show you on this video is how to potentially also structure your data slightly better and show you that you can still carry out XLOOKUPs even with this data, for example, in a different spreadsheet. So here we have sheet 1. We're going to call this populations, and we're going to create a new one with capitals. And what we're going to do now is we're going to cut this data from here. So Control X is your friendly shortcut today. So Control X, and we're going to put this in here. So now you'll see that we've got our table in a different spreadsheet. And I would expect that potentially our formulas are now broken. However, Excel, I'll show you, has done an amazing job of actually updating the formula to point to the new spreadsheet. And how we can tell that is it's got the name of the spreadsheet here, so capitals, and then following that there's an exclamation mark before we get the ranges within there. So you can see that in this formula now we can actually refer to other spreadsheets, we can even refer to other workbooks, and we can do these lookups across different sheets, and that allows us to structure our data much better. You saw that if we had two tables on the spreadsheet, it might be quite confusing to think about what you're looking at, but now it's very clear that here we've got the populations, here we've got the capitals, where we can quickly link the two together using an XLOOKUP formula. And also you're going to be sure that that data is correctly matched. Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Click to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye.